Politics suck. I think this is the best way to start the video. Now, I hate politics in every form of the word. I hate the people running, and I hate the people supporting it. This whole thing is making my penis retract inside of my body. It makes me want to play Russian roulette, but only instead of having one bullet in the chamber, I want to have one slot in the chamber open, if you catch my drift. Now, I don't want to turn this into a politics channel, but I really need to discuss an issue I've been seeing online recently, in the form of radicalization of everybody in politics. And I don't just mean your average Twitter user who thinks if you jerk into Riley Reid it is somehow political, but I am talking about every multinational media corporation who decides to place politics in everything from games to movies to whatever other media is out there, and then those brain-rotted Twitter users. It is becoming a more and more frustrating experience to enjoy anything when politics is shoved down your throat on every turn. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. So hello everybody, I'm the Holy Commentator, and this whole politics issue came into my head when watching this Frogan clip.
I have no pity at all for any fucking soldiers. Distress, thank you so much. I will never have any fucking pity for any fucking soldiers. U.S. military? Who fucking who? I hope you get PTSD. The ones I'm like whatever about the U.S. soldiers are the ones that like acknowledge that like what they did was wrong. They didn't know back then. Whatever. You're a good person in my book. The U.S. military that are like, yeah, like, you know, I did this back then, but now I know it's wrong. Like, I'm changed. Like, fuck imperialism. Fuck this. You don't deserve the PTSD. But like any other motherfucker, you're joining them. You're like, oh my god, I want my fucking Camaro, no student loans. Fuck you. I hope you get PTSD. And I hope you get no health insurance when you get back into fucking America.
Shut the fuck up. Know your fucking place, trash.
And then this Denims clip.
So I heard that there was some chick who, this one, right? Some chick was reacting to me giving a heartfelt story about my father's time in the military in a modern society, because that's what they do, guys. That's what they don't tell you.
Inventing a guy to feel sorry for.
They have to readjust. Inventing a guy to feel sorry for me. So is she implying that I'm making up this story about my father to get people to feel sorry for me? Yeah, what a crazy move. If everybody on Earth was a fucking sociopath, family has served, and seeing my brothers before the war and after the war, they became different people. My dad also has PTSD. It's very awful to fucking see, and seeing him have to understand like what is okay and what's not okay to do, and you know, society just said, oh God, here we go. Oh, well, you're not in war anymore. Just get over it. And then they come over and they have to relearn that they're safe now. Yeah. They have to relearn that they're fucking safe.
What do you mean your dad had to relearn what was okay and what was not okay?
Stop it. Get some help.
These clips kick me into a rabbit hole that I can only get out of once all this political vomit is out of my system. Oh, and Trump got voted in. I had to write that into the script, so give me a break, will you? And before this video begins, yes, I like to consider myself more neutral and not agreeing with any side of the political spectrum fully. So if you want to get the fence-sitting comments out of the way, do them now, and I'll touch myself inappropriately to them once I go to bed. With that in mind, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and of course, if you do, like and subscribe, and let's discuss this bullshit once and for all. Now, I want to go after both political sides here, but before I even get into that, I want to talk about how people get so radicalized in the first place. Anybody with the IQ of room temperature knows the buzzword echo chamber, but nobody knows when they are in one. They use the term echo chamber in reference to anybody who disagrees with their politics, but never when it's any of their own. I understand why. The critical thinking to realize you got stuck in a trap of the average political influencer like Hassan Piker and Frogan to Andrew Tate and Sneeko is very complex, and you'll have to deal with an incredible amount of hate once you do reflect on what you support and criticize the pieces you may disagree with. The problem is, most people don't know what they're supporting and only support the headlines. For example, the stand against transphobia. I believe most people will most likely agree with that, and if you don't, whatever, it's your point of view. But the reason I bring this up is because, sure, you agree with the headline, but how do you solve it? Do you make a tweet online saying they're bad and poof, the issue is solved? Or is it attacking somebody online and telling them to game in themselves alone in their mother's basement? Or is it media corporations making a stupid rant about it in their games and movies? Let's have another example. The stand against abortions. Do you do the same stuff as I said earlier? Do you rant about it on Reddit forums thinking that one 16-year-old pregnant chick will read it and stop herself from getting a Dyson vacuum up the cooter? Do you protest and walk for a couple kilometers and say, they got the message out? So the question is, do you understand what the headline is about? And most importantly, can you trust the information provided by the sources that support that headline? Statistics are continuously being thrown in your face, and how do you know it's true? The amount of time and deliberation you need to understand these topics and issues at length is nearly endless. Now take that deliberation and multiply that by thousands of social issues. I certainly don't have the time to, research that amount every single time with every single social issue. I think now with the internet being as big as it is, it makes your point more of a dick-sucking contest. The more you agree with one side, the more sloppy toppy you get in the end. And soon enough, rational thinking is out the window. Because why turn back? The other side you begin to disagree with more and more just throws shit at you. Nobody critically thinks about what they believe in, and why bother when you keep getting head from the people who don't think critically themselves? Why have a genuine, open-minded conversation about something when there's a possibility you'll agree with the other point of view ever so slightly and immediately stop getting hit from the people that supported you in the first place? I don't want to sound self-righteous, but you have people like Hassan who throw terrorist propaganda on his live stream and just yells at the top of his lungs in debates instead of at least listening to the points being made.
With that, does he know what One Piece is?
Yeah, he said he's been watching it since he was a kid.
No way!
Yeah.
That's sick. Yes, that's fire. That's so fire. Oh my god. We think the Houthis, Ansar Allah, is doing what Luffy would do.
And you have people like Sneeko who think that you should be able to marry underage children if the parents agree to it.
You're insinuating that it sounds creepy and that I sound like a pedophile. What's the definition of pedophile?
Hold on. Agreed upon place. Otherwise, about sex. Do you think it's okay to be marrying a 15 or 16-year-old? Probably not, right? Like I would imagine, probably not.
It depends.
Are you sure about that?
So this is where the age of consent becomes arbitrary. I don't even believe like that. Consent is a weird thing to even speak about, but it should be the father, right? If I want to marry a girl, I shouldn't even just get consent from her. I should get consent from her parents. She should want to say yes. Her parents should want to say yes. That's consent from the family, and then you get married. That's the Islamic way. That's the only way that makes sense.
This whole thing continuously mind-fucks me and makes it hard to believe in the future. I genuinely think that politics are getting more and more childish and less of something you genuinely have to think through. I mean, I do believe radicalization starts when you're a kid. I remember when I was in school for the first few years, I was a huge leftist agreeing with everything my teachers and peers told me to believe in, only to switch hard right after following a few political channels on YouTube. Only to realize soon afterwards how deep I was getting into stupid political beliefs. That's when I had to reflect and stop myself from falling more into one side or another. But if you're a kid going through school, the same thing you see online, you see in person. In class, I remember having to write about feminist issues and getting a pat on the back if it was good. You can even see this in colleges and the way they support politics too. But you can see the reflection of what happens in schools and what happens online and with the radicalization method. If as a kid you got continuously pat on the back for the beliefs you had, why would you want to change them later? Especially when it's extremely hostile to ask questions about whatever social issues are around you, especially if they're in opposition to what you should believe in. And that's how the internet works, and politics is only becoming more and more of a hostile thing to try and discuss calmly. Whew, I sound like such a boomer right now, my fucking god. So, now that you get my opinion on how radicalization starts, I want to go more into a deep dive of the main issue of the internet. I am about to go full boomer here, and I do say I am somewhat a part of the problem I speak about, but this still needs to be said. The internet is causing political chaos. I feel politics in this day and age is more about entertainment than actual social issues. I mean, we saw Trump on the Aiden Ross stream, we saw Kamala Harris on the Call Me Daddy Sex Health podcast, and apparently we'll also be seeing her in Fortnite. Now, give me a second real quick.
Oh my fucking god, why? Why do people think this is a fucking place for this bullshit? God fucking damn it.
Sorry about that, but why have people who are running in the American election for presidency on podcasts and games? It is simply for entertainment at this point, and not about what the candidates support or believe in, but the entertainment value. Trump and Kamala are getting closer to actors than genuine political candidates, and I mean, screw the race for presidency. The biggest political fingers are not senators or parliament members, they're live streamers and YouTubers. No wonder why everybody's getting more radicalized when politics are getting closer and closer to a game of Jeopardy. Once you switch something like politics into a game format, you know what happens? You get a red versus blue and an us versus them scenario. This is what the internet is doing. And again, I'm all for the entertainment factor and genuinely believe that politics can be more of a fun entertainment format. But the way things are going right now, where instead of being able to be lighthearted about everything, and instead, everybody's saying fuck it and putting all chips on black.
I hope you get PTSD.
It is impossible in today's day and age. things are getting so far on each end, where you have people like Hassan who are supporting a terrorist organization that supports the elimination of Jews on the left. I can't help but feel like we've gotten too far down the path of I'm right and you're wrong. I feel like everybody is far too egotistical to realize the flaws or at least accept them. And I'll be honest, I may have this flaw as well, but it's still an issue we all need to reflect on. There is no more fun conversation about a situation or political belief. There's no way to shut yourself out of politics completely without being harassed either, and it just leads down the rabbit hole of mental health crisis that we're seeing more and more in people today. Funnily enough, we're becoming less of individuals and with our own beliefs and ideas, and more carbon copies of whatever entertainment is out there. Whether you're playing Dragon Age Veilguard,
Ruby in her other hand. Maker's panties. I was so proud. Shit. They're still holding it. Sorry. Tradition in the Lords of Fortune from one of our old members, Barv. Good guy, but like most of us, his plans went sideways a lot. Bad blood among your crew's not good for morale, but there's not always time for big, drawn-out apologies. So when one of us screws up and we know we've screwed up, we do a quick 10 to put it right. Pulling a Barv. Oh, Tash isn't the first non-binary member of the Lords.
Any reason you can't just apologise?
Sometimes people say, oops, sorry, and hope that fixes it. But they just want to get the whole thing over with. Trust me, I know. But pulling a Barv, you sweat a little. Makes you think about it a little more. Shows the other person you mean it.
What if they mean it when they say they're sorry, though?
And that's the other reason. Some people mess up and get all dramatic. They make it about them. Oh, I didn't mean it right.
Now!
or watching the Tate brothers or Hassan Piker, more and more people are getting molded into the people they watch. So am I. And I think starting to get out of this, you need to reflect on who you are and think about what you believe and, what you would do if you wouldn't be criticized. And I don't mean eating 18 packs of Doritos or streaking through the neighborhood naked. I remember a time where politics was less of a casual talking point, more of something you had on the back burner when creepy Uncle Ron was talking to you. I remember when games and movies rarely had a definitive political slant, and if there was any, it was buried in amazing writing and was never too obvious as it is today. And I remember when getting shunned for your political views would not be commonplace. All of this was a better time, and yes, politics are important, but it should not be a constant eye of the hurricane scenario, where you fuck up everyone else's day because you think it's a human right to be able to drink free Windex or whatever. It's stupid and should not be a do or die type of topic. And this is clearly should not be nearly as effective at radicalizing individuals. The amount of time I hear something like
Trump is Hitler
or
terrorists will end Americans, we know it,
shows how bad this situation has gotten. In the past, people would be like, oh, he isn't a great candidate, and he doesn't reflect my ideals, but I respect him as a person. And now, more like everyone will be like, everybody will die if you don't vote for my candidate because the other party's putting fent in the water. No wonder everybody's trying to assassinate one another. So in the end, there isn't much we can really do about the situation other than working on self-development. I mean, I'm also working on self-development. It's helping me think clearly about what I want and who I am. Even working on your body, you're testing yourself creatively, can do a lot in figuring out what is the real you and what is fake. Now, enough of this mental rim job I'm giving. Now, please don't get too political in the comments and start a rant about why toilet water should be like Kool-Aid powder or whatever, because this would literally defeat the whole fucking point of this video. I also want to say as a disclaimer that you don't need to be neutral for your opinion to be right. I genuinely think that you can be, right or left-leaning and genuinely believe in the issues supported on either side, but the problem comes with the radicalization and, when you think less for yourself and more for others and, to get the validation from them. Now, either way, my political vomit is over. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and of course, if you did, like, subscribe, and leave in the comments below of what your opinion on this topic is, and I may respond to your comment. I'll see y'all next time. This is me, the Holy Commentator, signing off.
I hope you get PTSD.